Hey Matthew, what's up?
Nothing much. I actually go by Rose and she, her.
Whatever, man. I've known you as Matthew. You can stay Matthew. Wow, your breasts are growing in.
Hey Sylvia.
Hey, Matthew. I hear you're trans.
Hi, I'm Liam Patterson. I'm an ally.
My name is Peter Harlow.
Royce Ann.
Mr. Curley, he, him.
So my name is Ryan, and I use they, them pronouns.
My name is Kira Zambrano. I refer to myself as she and her.
My name is Kristen Henderson, and I go by she and her.
Generally, with Benson specifically, there aren't as many issues as one might expect, at least not as visible from someone who's on the outside of the issue looking in, like myself. There have been certain instances and certain people who have been problematic, but generally speaking, overall, it seems that Benson is a pretty good environment for this sort of thing, as well as Portland as a whole, at least compared to some other cities. But in regards to a collective whole, Benson seems pretty good. There have been some problems, without naming names, but overall I think we're, if not in an okay place, then working towards being in an okay place, and further.
I don't know how we've dealt with it. I know that they've opened up some bathrooms for co-ed. I don't have any problem with it. I think they should make it more convenient for people. I think it sucks when I dismiss somebody to, this was an all-boys school, so the nearest bathroom for my class is halfway across the school. That's not cool.
Well, we did move the gender neutral bathroom that used to be way down in C Wing where nobody knew where it was, right? We did move it up here to the front hallway that makes it more accessible. I think it does its job.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's the greatest, but I think because, everybody uses it, right? So, but I think it does its job. I hope people feel comfortable in using it.
I haven't thought about it that much, which, could be part of the problem.
Yeah.
What are the issues with it?
The fact that it's all the way at the front of the school and away from the rest of E-wing. And,
Okay, so it's hard to get to.
Yeah, it's,
right. And there's only one.
Yeah, we only
that's
have one
a
here in the
problem.
school.
Yeah, and it's right in the main hallway and maybe not discreet, or
Yeah, not really convenient.
if someone
for the rest
wants
of
some
the school.
confidentiality.
Yeah. I mean, there is a lock on it, but it doesn't have a vacant or anything kind of sign on it.
Right.
Or letting
And
anybody know that's gender
so here's a
neutral.
problem, right? I don't even know. Is that the only one in the entire building
Yeah.
that's identified for that? Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So I think it's good that there is a few gender neutral bathrooms, but I do think that the situation is not as good as it could be. That one stall we have in front of the main office is often locked, and when it's open it's pretty trashed. So I feel like we kind of need more of those, just maybe more single stall bathrooms.
I think that when a student is in a position of needing to feel safe, or anyone for that matter, making key allies is important. So it takes some people longer, and some people never get to feeling accepting of people who are different than they are. So while some teachers or staff and students are still grappling with these issues of how to be empathetic and understanding, finding people who really are understanding and supportive of you in the meantime.
Okay. I feel, well, we need to make sure we have options for all students to be comfortable. It should not create anxiety when you want to go use a restroom during the day. I really want students to know that there is a safe place for them to go where they identify with and they don't have to hesitate. So there should be, in my opinion, more signage perhaps around the school that lets students know where they can have a gender neutral bathroom and they don't have to walk around in angst and wonder, where do I use the restroom? That is something I don't want students to ever feel anxious about. So we could probably do a better job of raising awareness about where the restrooms are and have better signage and make sure that everybody feels comfortable in their space.
As far as I understand the bathroom situation, first of all, the sinks are terrible. Then, second of all, regarding the topic, I think people should be able to use a restroom where they feel comfortable, but not everybody is always comfortable with change, and so having independent bathrooms, I think, is good. So everybody can feel comfortable where they're at.
Certainly I've known people who have transitioned in the past, and more recently as well. And more than anything else, for me, I try and treat it as a learning experience because, again, this is an issue that I am on the outside looking in at. I don't know what it's like to be trans, and I don't know what it's like to be trans in America specifically. So I do my best to hear what my friend in this instance or this person would have to say, their experiences, their struggles, the way they came to the conclusion about themselves, or the way that they maybe had some trouble coming to that conclusion in certain instances. It's a complicated situation, certainly, but I'll do whatever I can to support people and learn from what they want to tell me.
Okay, so this is dating myself. I'm 40 now, and nobody in my growing up used different pronouns. So to be honest, there's been a learning curve for me. I feel awful when somebody who's biologically one and identifies other, and I say, I grew up with yes ma'am and yes sir, and old dogs and new tricks. I struggle with it, and I have to apologize a lot when I mess it up. So I'm learning, I'm getting better.
All right, thank you.
Difficult for me sometimes to remember, and it isn't, I don't want to offend people, but, when I'm so used to calling somebody by one particular thing, sometimes it's hard for me to do the switch over.
Yeah.
It's not intentional, but. You forget I'm old, so, someone that I called Mr. Smith for, as a child, I don't really have to call them Mr. Smith now. I could call them by Joe, but I am so used to saying Mr. Smith that they're always going to be Mr. Smith.
Especially
To be honest, like I just, it's embarrassing, because I mess it up all the time. So I hope people are patient with me because I don't want to.
I think it should just be like a normal part of a conversation that, like, when you ask someone, hey, what's your name? And then after that you ask, and what pronouns do you use? Because I feel like it shouldn't be considered like a special thing. It should just be normal.
Well,
Besides
just-
the fact that you're a nice guy.
I mean, I think I just try to be approachable, hopefully to everybody, and be a little bit more outwardly appreciative of their efforts. If a kid has openly and publicly started the process of transitioning, and then talk to them about it and help them not feel isolated, you know, to quote unquote normalize it, you know, to make it cool, good with us.
Yeah.
One thing I do struggle with, and I'll put that out there, is pronouns. I'm old, and sometimes when you make your own independent perception of what gender a person is, then it's hard to switch. And so I try really hard to be inclusive and understanding and use pronouns and ask for pronouns when at the beginning of the year, but it is something I have to consciously do. And so I think that over time that sort of thing becomes easier, but being aware of people's requests and how they see themselves, I think, is really important.
I know about all the edit points. So I feel I'm a compassionate and caring person who wants to create a positive, nurturing, respectful environment in our classroom and in our community here at Benson. And so that's how I like to walk through my day, of approaching students with a smile, with how are you doing, how's it going today, and make sure that they know that we can engage in a conversation. That it starts with, hey, you know, how's your morning going? And other conversations can lead to that as time goes on and you nurture and develop relationships with students.
Just keep working towards understanding, you know, never thinking that I'm the most open-minded person in the world. You know, acknowledge my own sort of biases and also recognize, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm having a brain melt. You know, I have a lot of power.
Yeah.
And so, use that for good. Acknowledge
Yeah,
people
making
that
people feel accepted.
right. Privilege, I think, was the word I was looking for. Yeah, and always just make sure that everybody's getting a seat at the table. Like that I'm not, you know, the white male representative of everybody else. It's like I need to maybe sometimes shut up and let other people come forward and have their voice.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Curley.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
I think it's all about interaction and reaching out to others. You need to make sure, me as a instructor and you know, ally of the LGBTQ community, I also want to make sure that students know they can come talk to me. They can confide in me if they feel safe doing so. I need to make sure that I, in a safe way, in a neutral way, approach students and make sure that they know that I am an ally. And I think I could do a better job of that in the future by not being afraid to connect and to make those bridges. Because I want to also respect students' privacy. So it's kind of a fine balance between privacy and knowing that I am here to support and care for them. And I sometimes wait for students to come talk to me, and perhaps there's a better line where I could meet students in the middle and try to make more of an effort to make sure they know that I am available, because I want to make sure that they do know I am available, because it means a lot to me to give them the support that they are seeking and need in this environment.
Listen to me. Trans rights, and don't you forget it. Or I'll come to your house, and I will kill you.